Today's podcast is brought to you by Whataburger. The deliciousness of Whataburger must be tasted to be understood. A giant, juicy Whataburger was recently enjoyed by single-digit Blueprint member Scott Bergson on his trip to Florida to visit his dad July 4th weekend. Scott explained the explosion of flavors hitting his palate as a once-in-a-lifetime experience, something he will never forget the rest of his life. Scott's dad, a general in the military, ordered the Whataburger staff to construct a restaurant in Scott's hometown in New Jersey. Whataburger really is a bucket list item. Enjoy delicious Whataburger today. Now, we're going to learn how to tame our short game and compile everything we will need for the TapIn challenge that begins on July 25th.
How would you like to have an unfair advantage every time you stepped on a golf course where you have the confidence and skill to boom drives, drain putts, and win weekend skins games? You can. The single-digit Blueprint uses proven systems, structures, and strategies to lower your golf scores. Single-digit Blueprint uses proven systems, live coaching every day, mastermind groups, and monthly group challenges that sharpen your game so you can master the game. Get your $1 trial right now at singledigitblueprint.com and become a golfer everyone else envies.
Today, I am joined by our tamed Australian golf pro, Richard Guzzo. Some say that the cooler on his golf cart contains 30 different types of Vegemite, and that while he has been known to leave for the golf course in a bit of a hurry, he's never hit a fire hydrant. Welcome, Rich.
That's a good intro. I didn't know they made different flavors of Vegemite.
Well,
we need to talk about your hat first. Come on. What is up with that hat?
Well, Donald Trump is trying to make America great again. So I want to make golfers great again. And I wanted to, you kind of know our theme here is that we're against quick fixes and magic golf clubs and gimmicks and gadgets and tips that are kind of out of place with where golfers are, where they need to be. So I want to make golfers great again. That's my thing.
Okay.
It's simple. I mean, it's to the point.
Yeah.
It's to the point. And, FBI Director Comey, we need to talk about him and maybe getting him into the USGA rules committee because he's going to take your word for it. You know what I mean? Like, if you say I didn't do it, he's going to be like, okay. What do you think?
USGA is really struggling. I mean, they're see, here's my deal. I understand what they're trying to do with their tournaments. They try to make it as difficult as possible. I get that. But they are an organization that's there to grow our game. And I just don't think the average golfer likes seeing like the best golfers in the world struggle. If they look at it and they're like, well, I'm not very good at golf, but these are the best in the world and they can't even play this golf course or whatever setup that they do. I just don't think it grows the game like they think it's designed to do by setting it up as difficult as they can.
I think, anytime you just make it complicated, it's like that stupid rule in the NFL. Did Dez Bryant make the catch? I mean, he caught the damn ball. I mean, anybody on any playground, even if they did not want to admit that he caught the ball, he caught the damn ball.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I wasn't even talking about the rules. We hadn't even got into that one yet. So
I mean, they're just screwing it all up.
Yeah. I mean, and then you're talking about the rules debacles. The rules itself are fine. It's what's really caught them in, and what's caused a lot of us trouble or stir the pot, as you would say, would be the fact that they've allowed these video replays. And I would be okay with the video replay if every single golfer that was participating had every single shot videoed, but that's not the case. So to say that, well,
it's totally unfair.
Yeah, that's an unfair deal.
So if you can't apply it uniformly, and let's get back to, you're supposed to call these things on yourself. Or if you're playing with somebody, like your playing partner would be like, hey, you probably weren't aware of this, but I saw you move that sand, and you would be like, well, I don't think that I did, but you saw it, so okay, I'll penalize myself.
And flip side on the Dustin Johnson side, I mean, he pulled the rules guy to, he saw it move, called the rules official over, and it was determined in that group that there was no penalty. He didn't cause it to move. That's it. That's the end of the story. He wasn't trying to better the field, and I mean, if he didn't call the rules official over, I could understand. But not only did he call the rules official over, then he conferred with his playing partner, and they're all in agreement that it wasn't a penalty.
Let's just talk about the mental strength that it took for him to finish that out, because all the odds were against him, and we know how mental golfers are and how crazy we are, and how one little thing can set you off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's totally unfair to him.
Yeah, and then on the Women's Open, look, she broke the rule. I get it, but again, it's the HD high definition video replay that picked it up, and that's the bit that I don't agree with.
I didn't even see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
It doesn't seem like she was trying to cheat.
Yeah, and look, she broke a rule. I get that, but to the naked eye, no one saw it, and it wasn't advancing anything. So when we're there to call rule infractions on ourselves, if I didn't see it, and my playing opponent didn't see it, or the rules official didn't see it, because those are rules officials, they're on every group.
Yeah,
that's where benefit of the doubt kind of prevails. So there's been a lot of distaste come from the USGA, and that's really what we get back to. We're here to grow the game, and this is an organization that's there to grow the game for us, and it's really putting a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. So, I mean, look at the British Open, or the Open, whichever one you want to call it.
Hey, I saw something on this. They used to call it the British Open. There's like printed materials.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
it's just the Open. Well, that's bull crap.
Yeah,
they used to call it the British Open.
Yeah. It's funny because how they changed it to the Open. There was a pro a couple of years ago on his calendar put the Open, and his wife saw the calendar, looked at his husband's playing schedule, saw that this week was open. So talked to her sister and said, "Look, you can plan your wedding this week because he's going to be home. He's open." Come to find out, it's the Open. That week wasn't open.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
So his sister-in-law, I can't remember exactly what happened if they actually got married that week, but
yeah, he probably missed it, didn't he?
If it was called the British Open, there wouldn't have been an issue.
So let's shift over. We just completed, I think, the third or fourth Red Zone Challenge, and we've gotten some good results. And if you aren't aware of what the Red Zone Challenge is, it covers approach shots into the green and how to adjust your distance control. So when you get an awkward distance, you're able to adjust yourself and hit that mark.
As far out as 100. Usually we're working between 50 and 100. But yeah, that's the zone that we classify as the red zone. You get in that zone, and that's where you want to capitalize on either getting up and down for par or getting up and down for birdie. That is your zone.
So you had, we're still waiting on the final.
Yeah, we'll have the final results come in this afternoon. I'll have the final leaderboard tomorrow, online tomorrow. But this is a point system type of assessment, so not particular score wise. So we'll have them do an assessment on 50, 75, and 100 yards, and then over the course of the 5-6 weeks, see how they progress based on a point system. So if you score, if you hit the shot within a certain proximity, you get X amount of points. And so I think we've got Brian Terry's leading again. He absolutely blew the water out with the power and distance challenge. I think the previous leader gained about 224 yards, and he was at 320. Yeah, I mean this is across your whole bag. But if you think about it, if you're able to gain a couple hundred yards in your entire bag, how that equates to, your actual
And you factor in how many shots you hit and how much distance that covers over
Yeah. So
80 or
he's
90
currently in
strokes.
the lead right now, at plus 25. So the scoring that he's set up, I think it's from it. I do it to where because they'll do assessments every 2 weeks. So the first week versus the last one. So if there's a fluctuation in between, I'm not going to count it. It's between your first one assessment and your last assessment. So he's at plus 25 from where he started on the points. We got Greg Reynolds, and then he's at plus 19. And then we've got Michael at plus 19 as well. So they're the top three. But I'll have a final one tonight, and then post it online tomorrow sometime. And
we're looking at a gain of that much. That's I wish we could equate it to feet. Like how many points? How many feet is that? So what do we got on like when you get a plus 5, which I think is the highest one? How many feet away from the pin is that?
Yeah, it's 3 or 4 feet, so it's tight. I mean, we're looking at pretty much if you're getting max scores, which Brian on the last assessment, the 50 and 75 yards, he's getting close to the max scores. I think max scores is like 25 points, and he's getting around 20. So yeah, we're talking within a few feet.
So they're tightening that. They're tightening the radius up quite a bit.
Yeah. So if you take a diameter around your hole and basically just shrinking it. So if you're going out there and consistently hitting at 15, 20 feet from the pin at 100 yards, over the course of the 5 or 6 weeks, these golfers are starting to shrink it into, 5 to 10 yards. And that makes a big difference. I mean, if you can have a 5-foot birdie putt versus a 15, the likely chances of making the 5-footer increase dramatically. 15. So, yeah, but that one's going to wrap up
too. If you've got some flat, easy greens, you could drop your score quite a bit.
Yeah, but over the course of the 6 weeks, they're able to learn, where their go low point is and their swing, so that they can adjust their setup. Because in this particular zone of your game, having crisp ball contact is critical. So if you cannot hit it crisp, meaning the ball is slightly hit before the divot, you can't control distances, and you can't consistently hit these shots. So they're able to learn the go low point. They're able to pick a go-to club, so they can do these. They're doing this assessment with one club. And so what that allows you to do is to program what certain points in your swing generate certain distances. Because for most of us, we're not going to be left.
You can take it a step further and do this challenge with the next club down or the next club up, and really have I can't remember his name. We saw him at the Masters. He wears the goofy hat, the goofy Ben Hogan hat, and he's really tall, and he has the goofy swing, but he's got the spreadsheet. He pulls out a spreadsheet.
Chamblo or Bryson. Yeah.
He knows within 2 yards.
All the pros are like that.
So when you get to that level, it just makes sense if the amateur was to do the same and carry a spreadsheet around like this. I mean, we have a little sheet that you can fill in and get a good idea of everything for this. But, I mean, a golfer that knows his distances is going to be dramatically better than somebody who's just guessing and pulling it out of their ass. So if you've just completed the red zone with one club, go back through it with a different club. Get the distance differences there. There's going to be a difference, and it's just one more arrow you add to your bag of weapons there. So first of all, I want to give a special shout out to Brian Terry. He joined us during the Rust Buster, which was our kind of our test drive and experimental. We did it free because it was experimental. We have never done it before. It was at the beginning of the season. We were writing the emails actually on the road to the Masters. So did quite a bit of stuff with that. But Brian Terry, he said here, I just completed workout B of the Red Zone Challenge. Once again, just wanted to give you two a shout out. Since the third week of March and the start of the Rust Buster, I've lost 22 pounds, which may not seem like much, but it is to me. Golf game is better than it has been in 10 years. And check out these scores, Rich. These are like where you shoot. His last 5 scores, 72, 72, 75, 74, 69.
Yeah, it's pretty salty.
So he's playing golf better than he has in 10 years. And he says, I can play 36 in a day with no pain and little fatigue. It's the best money I've ever spent. And he spent $1. Let's be real. He spent $1 once the 14-day test drive ended, came into the program, finished it out strong, and he's been with us ever since. So congratulations, Mr. Terry. And we did a Q&A.
Everyone can get these results from each of the challenges that we have if you were to commit to the full program. It's very easy to start, go hard at it the first week and then basically die off. And essentially that's how the results show. If you consistently stick with the program, then you consistently get better. And that's pretty much how golf is. If we consistently work at our game in all areas, it doesn't have to be much.
It's not much. I mean, we just teach everybody how to practice basically, and you're already going to the golf course. So why not just adopt these methods when you're there and you're going to get better? Because it is how you practice. If you're just going to go out there and blindly hit balls and putts and stuff, you're not going to get any better. It may get worse. It's happened to me before. So we did a Q&A, and I asked everybody what they wanted us to cover on the podcast since we haven't done one in seems like forever. And apologize if we're a bit rusty. We really don't know what we're doing with the podcasts, but we enjoy doing it. But one of the things we were doing, we started a Book of the Month club last month, and I've done a pretty crappy job with keeping up with it, mainly because I wanted to get started, wanted to get going, but Amazon, which everybody was pretty much ordering from, wasn't able to get everybody their books because we got people all over the world. I think we got one in a member in Australia and several in Europe and Ireland and the UK and the United States. And so the first book was Raymond Floyd's The Elements of Scoring, which I think is a pretty tremendous book. So what I'm going to do is, since everybody's got their book now of this one, I think in 2 weeks, we will do a podcast over this book. Now, I would like to have some interaction if we can figure out how to do that, Rich.
Yeah, we can do it.
To where
we can do it live.
Maybe join us live and come in, because I know with the Facebook thing, only one guy can be on the video, but I would like both of us to be on the video if possible, so we can kind of work that out. So the next book that we're going to be covering is, and I have to mention this guy's name at least once.
No.
Every podcast.
You don't have to.
And I tell you, this guy, he's like a guru, but his dad was the real guru and trained him, and it's The Pro by Butch Harmon. And it's a book basically about his family and things that he learned from his father. And, it's really at the core of what we do here in the Single Digit Blueprint.
Just make sure you put the full title, because apparently a couple of the members are talking about on Amazon. There is The Pro. It's an X-rated cartoon available on there.
Well, why not get both? Might bring some excitement. And then if you really want to get ahead of things, the next book is going to be from Jackie Burke Jr., which I got to meet this guy. Autographed this book and a golf ball. He was out at Oak Tree many moons ago.
He plays only a game golf club in Houston, and I got invited out there one time. But at the Champions Club, and I got invited out there one time, but and they just never got a chance to get out there. I think
This
Steve
guy,
Upton
I mean,
plays out there.
he's kind of like a Butch Harmon. It's a tremendous book.
Yeah.
So go ahead and grab these two books, Jackie Burke Jr. It's Only a Game, and The Pro. Lessons About Golf and Life from My Father, Claude Harmon Sr., and that's by Butch Harmon. And I actually got the audio version of that one, and it's like 12 hours long. But it took me like 3 hours to read the book. So I don't know what's better.
That's probably
use of
the
time.
opposite for me.
So, with these books, we're not going to really be covering a lot of this is how you put your balance on this shot. This is your grip and this and that. These books are more about wisdom, how to play the game, how to think, and just some good common sense. So we'll get that going. And I know I see this with my son a lot. He learns two ways. He learns the hard way through pain, or he learns through the easy way, which is pleasure. And as you age and you get more wise, you realize that if you would just listen to your dad or your granddad or your coaches and just accepted what they said as the truth, you would have moved on a lot faster. You would have improved a lot faster. But I know with my son, he's got to get hit on the head by a damn hammer before he learns anything. And it's that's what these books are about, is we can take in this wisdom from these guys. I know Claude Harmon Sr. has been dead a long time, but all of his knowledge, well, most of it is in this book. And Raymond Floyd, once he passes on, his knowledge is in this book. You won't be able to ask these guys any questions, but it's like having a coach right there. So why not get better? It's pretty easy. They know more than we know. So anyway, we'll move on. So today's podcast is about the TapIn challenge and basically what you're going to need. And then we'll cover what it's going to be. And then at the very end, we'll tell you how to join us if you're not in with us just yet. Because I think we've hit the 100 golfers, Rich. And I think let's just see what happens. We'll go over it. We'll allow anybody that wants to come in and try it out. I'm really confident once they get in here and they start using it, they're going to see results quickly. They're going to feel more confident.
We'll tell you how to get. It's a really good flow from the golfers that are in the red zone to now, switching to this one, because this is right around the green edge and learning, what club to pick, how to determine the rollout, and just getting your ball within that dead range so that when you do miss a green, you can feel confident about getting up and down for par or birdie and moving to the next hole.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were going to tell you what you need to gather, but we'll come back to that. So there's 5 skills that we're going to work on, and any golfer can learn these skills. And number 1 is launch control. It's basically your setup and your alignment. And that's going to vary depending on what kind of shot you want to hit. But we'll teach you the basic foundation in launch control. That's week 1. And you do greasing the groove, which if you don't know, greasing the groove is just random, repetitive, perfect practice. So over the course of that week, you're just going to be working on your setup and your alignment to where, anytime you do a new change, it feels very uncomfortable. So by the end of the week, you're going to be feeling very comfortable. You'll be able to feel, okay, this is the right position that I need to be in. Because I know when I was learning how to chip, I had no game plan. I had no system. I was not taught anything. I was just kind of guessing. And, from the guys that I'd seen on television, this is how you do it. And it was never the same twice. And if you want consistency, it's got to be repetitive and easy, and you got to have a little system.
Yeah,
So we'll
and the
teach you
variable
that.
option will be based on your lie, and that's your variable option. But the
Yeah,
repetitive,
and even those will be
is- yeah,
repetitive depending on what lie you get.
exactly.
But you'll learn all of this,
Yeah.
and then tempo control, which I think is really, like when you throw a baseball, your brain just automatically gauges how hard to throw it based on the distance. We want to get you to that point with your tempo, for your swing length. And then impact control, we really need to eliminate fat and thin shots. If we can do that, we're well on our way to getting the ball closer to the hole. Because how many times do you hit, done the old D-cell? You still see some of the pros do it depending on the grass type they're in. They'll do it every once in a while. And then what I think is really the key here, obviously number one is impact. We've got to have that down. But next is distance control. If you can land the ball in a little circle of varying distances, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 yards, you can become a fantastic short game player. Just like Rich. I mean, the guy is amazing. He doesn't know that he does it, because I'll sit there and I'll watch him from a distance, and it's all automatic. He'll pick a spot on the green where he wants to land the ball, and he hits that spot 9 out of 10 times.
I would like to take distance control first before accuracy, because you can start.
I think it's a direct result. I think it
Yeah,
leads to accuracy, right?
Well, that's it. I mean, a majority of the accuracy bits is maybe just moving your point left or right. But if you can determine where that point is, where you need to hit, and it releases out or stops at that distance of the hole, and it's a little left and a little right, then it's a matter of just aligning that point. And so,
that's covered in launch control week.
Yeah,
because I had this problem where I would hit them always out to the right. It was like a foot out to the right. It was never on line with the target. Well, I broke it back down when we were creating this, and I discovered that my club face was just a hair open. So then I got that fixed, and if we can get it online, we're good to go. And then the last one is trajectory control. You need to have two thoughts. Am I going to hit a high shot? Am I going to hit a low shot? Obviously, the low shot, we saw a lot of those in the British Open because of the greens. Get it out, get it rolling towards the cup, and even some high shots were hit. I mean, over those nasty bunkers, they were hitting some pretty amazing shots there. So those are the 5 components of the skill components to the TapIn. And then next we have the 3 fitness components, which I'm about to actually film those today. We have a brand new EMF, and I went to the On It Academy. And if you don't know what the On It Academy is, it's a kind of a human performance lab where they do anything and everything to help you perform better, and they'll experiment with just about anything. But the key aspect, or the key focus they have, is a range of motion. Your body needs to be able to move through a complete range of motion, which with the golf swing, we know is exceedingly important to be able to do that. So I learned quite a bit there, and I've got a brand new EMF that we're going to be working on, which I know golfers in our target group, 40 and above, 40, 50, 60, their hips are super tight. I know mine are. So I've got a brand new EMF that's going to hit that, and you're going to look like a Latin dancer out there, shimmying and shaking it.
I got a good friend in Florida who we always joked back in the day about getting your glutes through the ball. And, I got my glutes through this one. And and I was like, yeah, well, you just, you got to do your stretching in the morning and you're good to go. And then Tiger comes out like prior to his last surgery, after one of his rounds, he's like, yeah, I couldn't activate my glutes. And I was like, oh my God.
Well, Tiger probably stole that from you, didn't he? the activation of the
I want
glutes.
some royalties, yeah. But the EMF
Well, I
is
mean,
good.
Tiger is right.
If you want to activate your glutes, EMF is good for that.
Yeah. And I mean, once you see this, if your lady friends see you doing this EMF in the morning, they might attack you. They might get a little excited. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna have a brand new one with that, and I'm kind of on the edge of doing two different ones, doing a hip one and then a full body one, just because the hips are super important. And then the workout, of course, this one's gonna be one of my easier ones. But I wanted to focus on balance, improving your balance, because as we get older, we do a lot less running, we do a lot less jumping, we do a lot less of everything. And the first thing to go is balance. I mean, you lose your coordination and your balance. So we want to bring that back because that's really going to help you with the short game and improve your posture, strengthen your lower back so you can actually go out there and practice and enjoy yourself. And then optional, if you want to, you don't have to do this, but we're going to throw in a HIIT, high intensity interval training, based on our shed pounds to shave strokes system. So we'll have that in there. If you need to lose a few extra pounds, you'll stack this on top of it. So Rich, I think that's pretty much it. Why don't you cover?
Hang on, this will be, these are, the EMF was in the, if you've done the TapIn challenge last year, the EMF was in there. There was no workout. So,
Yes.
So if you did the TapIn challenge in the past, this will have the workout components in there. So the workouts and the HIIT,
Well, there was no workout added to this. It had the EMF, which is the full body EMF. So we're going to add a hip one. And then we're going to add some brand new workouts. And then the HIIT, which you should already be familiar with if you've done shed pounds or core or any of the other programs that we have, that will remain the same. We might mix it up a little bit and do some Tabata training in there.
And the only other thing would be the equipment, and there's really only a few things that we need for that: a elastic band, a pencil, a towel, and an umbrella. We're going to do a couple of drills that will basically eliminate the flicking motion through the ball, because majority of the time when you flick the wrist through the ball, the leading edge comes up and you either hit it thin or hit it fat. So
right.
And I mean, if you put the T, or we use a T instead of a pencil, but if you do it the wrong way, and I think the video will show Chris's method versus my method.
Most painful method.
Yeah. Chris will send you some Band-Aids if you need when you do his method. But so yeah, there's a couple of ways, drills that we have where we'll use a pencil or a T with a rubber band. The other one with the towel and the umbrella, it's working on the distance control. We've got one of our, I'm pretty sure I put it in there. It's just a variation of it to basically make it a little bit more fun and enjoyable in practice. And that's kind of how to mix up how to hit your landing zone. So there is a bonus video in the TapIn challenge that has that, and it will use an umbrella.
Well, I got an idea when we were at the Masters. There wasn't a whole lot of people. When we first got there wasn't a whole lot of people. And then Jordan came down to the end of the range where we were at. And, it reminds me of when I was like actually hanging out with Nick Faldo in Tulsa. It was him and my girlfriend at the time was talking to Fanny, just like in conversation. He was just hitting sand shots. It was like awesome. Only people there. Well, here comes Tiger Woods. Wants to practice. Nick drops his club in the sand like a little kid, like he's like he didn't want Tiger around. And I swear 1,000 people were right behind Tiger Woods watching him come over there. And then Nick just goes, "That's it, mate." Packs it up, and he was out of there. Just like that. So Tiger, you ruined my conversation with Sir Nick. But it's one of those things where if you have the right facility where you can practice, you are going to get better. And in my backyard, I actually got this idea from you, Rich. You set up your own driving range. I don't know if you still
Yeah,
have
I
it.
mean, this is the other thing too with this particular challenge. I mean, there's a lot of components of it that can be done either at home or I would in your backyard. So yeah, I mean, we've filmed majority of it out in the golf course. So if you have the practice facility that will allow it, like, that's ideal. But there is nothing stopping you from doing this in your backyard. When you're talking about learning how to hit a particular shot over an obstacle, you can put something there and just do that. Or if you're learning to, hit without creating a flick in the wrist, you can do that at home. You just need to buy a mat and pretty much some targets, and that's it. I mean, the mats are cheap. I think, what do you pay for yours? It's like
I think I
$100.
paid $80, and you saw it. I mean, it's a great mat.
Yeah.
It's one of those octagon ones. I got it from DW Quell. So
Yeah.
what I learned from the Augusta range was down the entire right side and the left side of the range, they had flags, yellow flags set up that were at 10-yard intervals, I think.
Yeah.
10, 20, 30, all the way up to 100. You can do the same in your backyard, but I would do it in 5-yard increments. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, maybe if you have enough room up to 50 yards, because what we're going to ask you to do is those are going to be LZs or landing zones. So even if your grass is high, it doesn't matter. What we're trying to do is learn how far we swing the club to obtain those landing zone distances. So in my backyard, I went and I bought soccer flags. I think you can get 4 for like $100. If you want to get real golf cups for your backyard, I don't recommend it, and here's why. You got to dig a hole. That hole stays there. If you want to move it, then you got to dig another hole. With the soccer flags, I just pick them up and I spike them down. They got little spikes in them, so you can move them all over the yard as much as you want. And then I have my mat, and then I've got a Callaway shag bag thing. I can't remember what it was called, like a shag bag ball caddy. It's like this plastic thing, so you can walk and you can pick up the balls, but then you put it on your mat and you hit this little button on it and it shoots out a ball at you. So it's pretty cool. I think it was like $30. This is really good value. So if you set up a mat, your flags, I mean, you need like 4 or 5 flags at most. And then your ball caddy and then some balls. I went with the 2 dozen, Rich. They're called the Money Ball. They're so soft.
Did you not see my post earlier this week? So I recommend, 20, 30 balls of the ball you play on the golf course for this. That way.
I had to go with the Money Ball, Rich. It's money.
Yeah, your money going into my pocket.
I will say this. I had like some tailor-made practice balls, and then I had these Money Balls, and then I had some Pro V1s. These are very similar to Pro V1s on the chipping, and they're cheap. I mean, they're like not even half price, like 60% of the price.
What's the number one thing we always hear in a survey from golfers? What are they trying to achieve? It's consistency. And
on the cart girl, they want the cart girl's phone number.
Consistently trying to get a number. No, the goal of most of the golfers that come to us, they're looking to build consistency in their game. And if you're switching from a noodle to a top flight to a pinnacle to a Titleist to a Bridgestone to a Callaway, they're all different kinds of balls. They all react and they all do different things. I don't care if you play with the noodle, as long as that's all you play with, because you know how it reacts. I've got a guy that I play with here now, plays with an NXT Tour, and he knows based on his swing, he can land it in the front of the green and it will run up. Whereas my Pro V1 won't do that. But that's the one ball he plays with. So if he plays with the NXT Tour, he'll grab 20 to 30 balls in his shag bag NXT Tour. And you can pick them up on eBay for cheap if you want to do the secondhand one, or just go buy a new.
Just walk through the woods and find a ton of them.
Or
Next tour.
Yeah, it makes a big difference if you can practice with the ball that you play on the golf course. So that's
one of the things that we teach: practice like you play. So yeah, I agree with Rich on that, but I'm going to stick with the money ball for now.
Do you get some wrist after your practice sessions? Those balls are going to be like concrete.
No, I do have some Pro V1s somewhere, some older ones that I've gathered up, so I might throw them out there and see how they perform. But yeah, I mean, once you get this area set up, what I've done is, once I get my greasing the groove session for the week set up in alignment, I'll go out into the backyard and I'll do that. And I'll actually hit a chip shot. I'll do my greasing the groove set up in alignment, and then I'll hit a chip shot. And then I go back in the house. I'll probably do this 20, 30 times a day. And I can tell you the last time that I went out to the practice facility, I was deadly accurate. I mean, I was able to pace it off. I knew exactly what swing to use. And I was getting the ball closer to the hole than I ever have. And it's all because I set up this backyard practice facility. I don't go, if you're lucky enough to be able to go to the golf course every single day, which most of us are not able to do that, you can do this. But I think I've gotten better just by doing it in the backyard randomly because my brain is better trained. It's better able to just walk up and hit this shot, which is what we do on the golf course. We just hit random shots. I mean, you don't hit the same shot more than one time in a row, right? So it's really helped me get comfortable with these shots. So I think it's really important to set up a backyard station. You don't have to. You can go to the golf course, but really think it will help you out tremendously. I think that's pretty much it. You have anything to add, Rich?
The sign-up page for the TapIn. You've got it at is it Birdie Brigade /tap/in-challenge? Yep. I think that's pretty much it, just so that golfers that aren't in the TapIn can sign up. What are you doing? You're giving away
we'll get this podcast out quick, so we'll have time to get that promoted.
Yeah, and you're giving away the first week free, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll give them the first week. They can get in there and just see the value that we're providing. I mean, you'll get the full workout. The workout's not going to change over the entire program. So you'll at least have the workout and you'll be able to do that. But I mean, we're doing this because we want to prove that our systems work. And we've got a bunch of diehard golfers and we don't get a whole lot of cancels to the membership. We just don't, because they're getting results. And we've created a little community of friends. We all know each other now. Who was it flew out to, was it Larry flew out and saw Jeremy in Washington? Yeah. They played golf together. They had lunch together.
That is the great thing about golf.
Yeah.
Golf creates those bonds and relationships.
Yeah, and we're going to have our own tournament at some point. And I'm leaning towards Utah. I mean, we have seen the pictures from there that are unbelievable. Like, yeah. I mean, there's some of the most beautiful golf courses I've ever seen. Leaning towards that, Las Vegas or Phoenix. I know in Phoenix, there's so many golf courses there. It's unbelievable.
It was one year ago today that we were out there. So
yeah. That was
a 10:55
fantastic golf course, Verado, we played. And it's where we've actually filmed this. And I need to apologize. Our audio on this thing, we didn't know it because we couldn't hear it. But apparently the greenskeepers' radios were on the same frequency.
It must be a location deal. I've got a couple of other instructor friends out there that have really good setups with their microphones as well. And we'll have a clicking noise. And so there must be some type of frequency in that particular part of the country that will mess with the speakers or the microphone settings. So, but I mean, I think the video and the visual, and you'll get the idea of what we're trying to talk about in each of the videos. So, but we do apologize for there are a couple of clicking noises on the audio. But
and Rich was getting artistic with the colors. It's kind of a watercolor look. He was, he was going for the desert look.
I think it's safe to say I'm not a pro when it comes to video editing or video taking. So, but I think for the most part, the information that we want to get out there is in these videos, and I think everyone would understand that they can clearly get what we're trying to talk about. And if you don't, we always argue. But if you don't understand or you miss something on a video, we're available on email at coaching@golfaggressive.com, or you can hit us up at our Facebook private group page. So we're available anytime. So if there's any questions that you have on a particular video, just let us know. We'll iron it out.
We love this game. I mean, this game is our life. So you don't bother us if you email us about golf. I can assure you, we love it. And then next month we're going to venture out to Tunica. In our travels, Rich and I just like to drive and just do random shit. So
I think
ran across this golf course.
Yeah. The great thing about Tunica is it's a circular driving range. And so one, I like that because you can pick and choose where you want to set up to hit balls that day. But as the day that we went, the driving range was set up for most of the golfers that would come and play on the far side. So we're driving around and I'd say to Chris, look at this tee box. And the tee box was slanted. And then you move to the next tee box and it was slanted the other way. And then over to the right, there was this whole chipping course. So
bunkers and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. So it's an ideal because the next phase that we're working on with challenges will be shot making, bunker play, just course management tips. So this seems like the best place to do that. That's on a range setting so that we can have a neutral zone.
Plus, it's like right by a casino. So Rich will be drunk and gambling away all of his money that night as soon as we finish the videos.
We'll be filming late in the afternoon.
We'll be keeping rock star hours out there.
We need to do it before daylight savings ends.
I'm still blown away by that green at Justin Timberlake's golf course.
Yeah.
What was the point of that? 100-yard long green, other than to run up your maintenance costs.
I think the greenkeeper pissed off the owner and was like, I'm going to make the biggest green. So you're going to have to spend 3 hours every morning just mowing it. So I mean, it is a full pitching wedge long. It's 100 yards. 100 yards. Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
You think they were going for like a world record? World's biggest green?
I don't know. I'd like to know what that is. You've got a couple of double greens. I know at St. Andrews, you've got 3 or 4 double greens.
Well, I mean, there was one at the Hyatt, but it wasn't even close to that big.
Yeah. Yeah. It probably could be. It was on an angle though. So,
yeah.
But yeah. So, yeah. So we'll be in Tunica sometime next month and getting some more content for the single digit blueprint.
We will, we're getting close to finishing the whole program, and then we'll just continuously refine it. So also on this challenge, we're going to go back to the point system. I think our guys responded better when they had a daily points total. And that was, I think we implemented that in the Rust Buster. It was like, how many points a day did you get if you completed this and this? You got 5 points. Consistency challenge on top of the daily challenge task lists.
Yeah, I mean, it was tied in with the daily task list. So if there was 5 tasks on the daily task list, there was 5 points, and if you did all 5, you did all 5 points. So it's just holding you a little bit more accountable. The assessment is a little bit more. I wouldn't say challenging, but there's more to the assessment in the TapIn. There's 3 different types of testing. that we're working on.
This is my favorite challenge. I think this is the best one.
It's fun. I mean, the 3-hole challenge, then you got the up and down challenge, and then you got the basically testing your medium, basically what your average is for getting up and down from a certain distance. So all three really good tests on your game for this particular challenge. And then so if we're working in the point system for the daily checklist, really comes down to holding you accountable for what we have on task for that day. We found that those guys that had the most points at the end of the challenge had the best results in the leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, the more consistent you are, Charlie Munger, he's like a financial guru guy. He said if you can eliminate laziness / sloth and inconsistency from your bad habits, so you basically become more consistent with what you do. If it's working out, you work out every day or mostly every day. If you want to be a banker, you do whatever every day instead of once a week or once a month. You get much better results. You propel yourself further. You improve faster, and you gain confidence faster. So it's the same thing with our point system, and it's really, I sit back and I ask myself, what can we do to get more people to participate? Number one, it's got to be fun. But number two, these task lists and these checklists, when you put that score to it, people want to check out everything, and they get competitive. And I think our highest success rate was with the Rust Buster. I think that's when the most people finish the challenge, because you'll always get people that are excited, they start the challenge, and then they peter out, and eventually you don't hear from them. But then the guys like Brian Terry, I mean, he's playing the best golf he has in 10 years. He's feeling better. He's just been doing a little bit every day. It's not like we ask him to do a whole lot. I mean, he's just doing a few minutes here and there every day. But, I mean, look at the results. They're amazing.
Yeah, it's like my daughter's trying to get a particular move for her cheerleading class. But she does, the class is once a week. And then, she hasn't been doing it during the week. So
she's not going to get any better.
That's it. So I mean, she's gifted enough that she will, but she could get to that certain level faster if she just did just a little bit every day. And then by her class on that Monday night evening comes around, she will get that particular move. And so that's the same principle with golf. There are golfers that are just gifted that will get the certain challenges or the certain drills that we have to that next level. But if you're able to just do a little bit at a time, it'll get you to it faster.
Yeah, and one thing you got to get this out of your brain is that Michael Breed bullshit of this one tip is going to fix my shit. Because it's not. Your ball may be doing X, Y, Z, whatever he says it's doing. It says, oh, well, to fix it, do this. But that may not even be the problem. It may be as far back as your grip.
Yeah.
You got to start at the beginning and dissect it and be patient and work through it. And that is how we design everything, is from the ground up. We don't give you bullshit quick tips just so we can sell commercial space and keep people on the hamster wheel. We want you to get better. We want you to not need us.
I'd love to see you on a commercial with that hat.
It's kind of tight. It's hurting my head because I got a giant brain.
Makes me feel bad. I actually wore a red hat, not knowing that you were going to wear that.
I saw you on the video when you fired it up. So I went through the song. So anyway, that's the TapIn challenge. We want you to join us. We want you to succeed. We want you to buy in. We want you to get better. We're willing to prove it to you. So go to Birdie Brigade. It's birdiebrigade.de.
Make it easier next time.
Yeah, it's a German domain. Birdie Brigade /tap/in/challenge. Put in your email address. Join us. You get a test drive to the first phases of the TapIn challenge, and you will improve. I guarantee it. Head over to DW Quail Golf and order your backyard driving range stuff. And let's get to work. Rich, tell me about your backyard driving range. How is it going? Are you able to hit balls out of the backyard now?
Not the new house. I mean, it's big enough. But yeah, I don't know how I'm going to set it up. So I'm waiting for the winter, because that winter ride it's so easy to grow. But right now, no. The patio is not like my other one. So
you don't have a driving range out back of the house?
Not yet. I'm going to say not yet. I think it's going to come, but it's been so hot. Oh my goodness. So yeah. But I'm working on it. I've got
so
some
angles. Take full shots out there?
No. I think it's about, it's bigger than the last yard. It's just, from out the balcony is not set up to hit from the balcony. So I'm going to have to actually go down to the yard level.
It's but you used to be able to hit driver off the back porch.
Oh, yeah, into the field? Yeah, that's not going to happen. Yeah.
The wide open spaces of Texas.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, that's not it. So
if they ever plow that field, they're going to be like, what the hell, man?
It'd have to be
thousands of golf balls out here.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, see you in the TapIn challenge. Chris, it's been fun. We're back at it with this podcast. I know we had a little break there, but I think it's good to be back, and we'll do these weekly if we can, if not every other week, depending on our audio and video technique.
We're going to New Orleans next week, so maybe we could do one from there, a New Orleans special.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Bring your gun.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.